It is 12:30, and it's so nice to be able to say that things are getting almost back to normal when it comes to a Saturday afternoon here on BBC Radio Tees, because Coventry is back. The pre-season friendlies are happening. Borough's over in York today, and that's where we find our Mark Drury. You all right, Mark?
I am indeed, Ant. I am indeed, yes. Hartlepool United last night for Middlesbrough, and they've had a quick turnaround because we are here at York this lunchtime for a 1 o'clock kick-off. And what weather we've had as well on the way. Torrential rain leaving Teesside, thunder and lightning when we got here to this ground which is on the outskirts of York, this brand spanking new ground that York built a few years ago now. And now finally, thankfully, it has cleared, the skies are blue, and we're looking forward to seeing what Borough can do this afternoon. And I tell you what will be fun though, Rob Law, Mickey Barron and Neil Maddison had a bit of a laugh last night because Hartlepool played a number of trialists. So they are just down as trialist A, trialist B and trialist C. They don't have numbers. So, you know, you have the fun of working out who they are. Today, York City are playing without numbers at all, any of them. So good luck to everyone involved.
My God, how does that work?
I don't know. I've been doing this a long time. I've been doing this 20 years. I've not come across this before, and so it goes to show, you know, every day you get up, you never know what's coming. There's always something new potentially to come along, no matter how long you've been doing a job. So thankfully, you know, the Borough players have got numbers on, and we know who they are anyway. But York, this will be a voyage of discovery for all involved this afternoon. So obviously I'm relying on Neil Maddison to pick out who everybody is. So commentary to come, 1 o'clock kick-off. We're with you until 3 o'clock this afternoon.
And the ball falls to the man in the yellow shoes. The yellow shoes passes to the blue shoes.
There'll be a lot of hairstyle identification, I think.
Thanks, Mark.
We're as passionate as you are.
BBC Radio Tees Sport.
Welcome everyone to York City. It is BBC Radio Tees Sport with Mark Drury and Neil Maddison, our expert Borough summariser. As it feels like 2 minutes since we last did this last night at Hartlepool United. Well, Borough are back in action this afternoon, about 40 miles down the road, down the A19 and round the outskirts of this beautiful city. And Neil, we've had all weathers. The sun is out now, thunder and lightning, torrential downpours, and we have a Borough team ready to, well, do a little bit better than last night.
Yeah, listen, it's another pre-season game, and last night, minutes in the legs. You know, some of the boys getting 60, 70 minutes, which is massively important in pre-season, as we know. Come the first game against Millwall, you have to be ready, and these games, you just set yourselves up to put in a shift, getting the fitness into you, and you know, just I said to the younger, I think more importantly for the younger boys, and I thought the younger boys last night when they came, I thought we were excellent. You brought some academy boys on, and they really lit up, you know, on the pitch. They played some good stuff, and I thought we were better for them. But today, as you'll tell us in a minute, it's a lot stronger side.
It is. It's a very different side. The applause you can hear is for the York City players. York in the National League, they are just finishing their warm-up and walking off in one big group into the tunnel, which is just down to our right. It is a really tidy ground, this York's stadium of a few years now, the successor to Bootham Crescent. There's the cinema at the end away to our left, which backs onto the stand, and we've got plenty of fans in that one behind the goal away to our left. Empty stand a bit smaller away to our right. Reminds me a bit of the tin shed at Feetham's, that stand at the end to the right. But this is a really good ground. It's ready for the Football League if York can get there, Neil, because they're one of the teams, along with Hartlepool United, who want to get back out of the National League.
That's a wonderful stadium. I mean, they've got it absolutely spot on. Not too big, not too small. It's just right. But everything around it, you just mentioned the cinema, you know, there's
retail park, isn't there?
Yeah, it's an absolutely beautiful location, and you're right. They want to get back into the Football League, to York City, and they're a football club that should be there, as well as Hartlepool.
Indeed. Right, let us run through the Middlesbrough team for today that Neil mentioned a moment ago is a bit stronger than last night, and it is. We've got Senny Dieng in goal this afternoon, Borough signing from Queen's Park Rangers. The back four, Sam Collins on the left, Tommy Smith on the right, then Darragh Lenihan alongside the 19-year-old Dutchman, Rav Vandenberg. I'm looking forward to seeing him this afternoon, seeing what he's all about. In midfield, Dan Barlasser and Kane Sykes. Then another new boy, Sammy Silvera, will be out wide. Isaiah Jones will be as well. Then Matthew Hoppy, I think, will play just off Morgan Rogers up front. On the Borough bench, goalkeeper Tom Glover, Jack Hanna, Daniel Nkrumah, AJ Bridge, JD Costello, AJ Matthews, Jack Stott, Nathan Simpson, Fenton John, Rio Patterson-Powell, Max Howells and Frankie Whelan. Now York, this will be fun, and when I say fun, I don't really mean it. Ryan Whitley's in goal, that bit'll be easy. The rest of them don't have numbers, not one of them. I have never ever come across this, Neil Maddison, at any level of vaguely professional football.
It's strange because the team sheet gives you the numbers.
No, they're the Borough numbers. Look on the left.
Right, there you are.
Yeah, no numbers. So Ryan Whitley's in goal. I'm told the back four will be Michael Duckworth, the ex-Hartlepool United player, Callum Howe, Tyler Cordner and Thierry Latty-Fairweather. Dan Pybus, Ollie Dyson and Mitch Hancock's in a three-man midfield. Linnell John Lewis up front, Callum Harriott and Maz Kuyar out wide. The manager is a native of York, Michael Morton. He got the job in January and he helped keep them in the National League last season. They finished 19th, 3 points above the relegation zone. On the York bench, Mason Campbell, Sam Sanders, Adam Crooks, Ryan Fallowfield, Levi Ando, Paddy McLaughlin, Scott Burgess, Finlay Barnes, Cedric Main, and then Tri-List A and Tri-List B. Now also here at the LNR Community Stadium this afternoon is the Gazette's Craig Johns, and Craig is going to play a bit more of an active part in our commentary this lunchtime. A few expert comments, Craig, or colour comments.
Afternoon, Gentry. I'm not sure about expert comments, but we'll see.
What are you looking forward to today, Craig? Because you were at Victoria Park last night as well.
Yeah, so I think obviously seeing the new boys in action, 4 of them starting, you always want to kind of get an early gauge for what they're like and what they're going to bring this season, and hopefully with that stronger side, as Maddo's already touched on, you know, seeing Borough a bit more like the Borough that we were used to seeing last season, step up a bit in tempo, and see how we go.
Who caught your eye last night then?
Of everyone who played, I think young AJ Matthews, who got the goal when he came off the bench, I think he provided a real bright spark. Not just the goal he scored, but he had that shot from range that hit the bar, and in general he just looked lively, which was pleasing to see.
Of the lineup today, who interests you? I mean, obviously the new boys, we wait to see what they've got, but Kane Sykes in central midfield, for example, it's opportunities for players like him, isn't it?
Yes, that's it. That's what the pre-season games are about ultimately, aren't they? Because you use your squad a bit more, so young players like Kane Sykes get an opportunity. I'm interested to see Matthew Hoppy today as well, and where he lines up. Obviously,
it's going to come on to him.
Yeah, struggled last season to initially make an impact, so went to Hibernian and had a little spell there on loan, so hopefully he's come back this summer and hit the ground running, because of course he came late last summer, so didn't really get much of a pre-season.
We've swapped today. You turned up in shorts last night and you were freezing, and today I've got the shorts on. It's actually turned out alright now, but for a while I was thinking I'd made your mistake.
Yeah, well I checked the weather forecast and it was due to thunderstorm during the game, and it looks like that's passed now, so I think you got it right.
Well, there's time yet, Craig, there's time yet. Thank you very much, Craig Johns of the Gazette, who's here blogging away, I'm sure, while the match is going on, but we'll get some of Craig's thoughts as the game goes on. Matthew Hoppy, Neil. What are we to make of Matthew Hoppy? Came in, Chris Wilder said he's a development player. He didn't have any sort of impact, and then he went to Hibernian.
Yeah, I think it's a pre-season that he'll be looking to try to impress the manager. It's as simple as that. I think it's a big pre-season for him. Keeping himself fit and the opportunities that he's going to get, he has to shine. Don't get me wrong, I think he'll be looking to shine in in training sessions as well, but when it matters is the pre-season games, and if he can, get a few goals, if he can impress the manager, who knows, he might be a part of his squad next season. Well, this season coming, but it's like everyone. It's not just Matthew Hoppy. It's like all the boys. You mentioned Kane Sykes. Sykes, he's had a little bit of an injury that's kept him out last season, but he's come back. What a good footballer he is. A great passer of the ball. His range of passing is absolutely top draw. I mean, he can put it from 40 yards on the end of your toe. So, I'm looking forward to watching him and how he progresses. But last night we've seen all the boys, all the academy boys are back in the squad, aren't there? And
Jack Stock came on last night. I thought in a few minutes cameo, I thought he looked the part.
Yeah, I thought he was excellent. Jack Stott's there. AJ Bridge, who went into midfield, did really well, and obviously AJ Matthews that we've just talked about. Nathan Simpson on the right hand side I thought was really good as well, and Rio Patterson-Powell. Rio is a second year now YT, second year scholar, but Rio is he's slight, not the biggest, but I tell you what, he has got a heart of a lion. He is, if you're playing against him, you know you're in for a tough game. He's a winger, he's direct, he's quick, he's skillful, and he's someone that I'm looking forward to watching, over the coming season, to see how he progresses, see how he develops, because he's got real potential, Rio.
Well, we've got the mascots all lined up on the pitch. Flags have been waved with the York City crest on. There are some familiar faces here, aren't there, as well, off the pitch at York. You've got, in the dugout, you have assistant manager Tony McMahon, who of course is a former Middlesbrough player and actually did a bit of coaching at the club under Jonathan Woodgate, didn't he, when he was in charge, and a man who's just delivered you a cup of coffee. He knows exactly how you like it because he's known you since he was a kid and you were coaching him. David Stockdale, he's not playing today, but he's here as York's #1 goalkeeper, and he's doubling up as a recruitment man as well.
Yeah, I've had a chat with Stocky. He's a great lad, good keeper. You're on about keepers now that have to possess that passing ability, and Stocky was right up there. He had an unbelievable passing, a lovely ping of the ball, and could pick you out from long distance. He was such a good keeper, and you know what, he's had a good spell as a goalkeeper. But I said to him there, I said, you're stupid. I told him, you're stupid, you should have kept on playing. What is he, 35, 36, keep on playing, get a few more seasons. Keepers go on for a little bit longer, and to come back onto the coaching side now and recruitment, yes, he's enjoying it, but there's no better feeling than playing football, and I think he just took that decision a little bit too early.
Well, he's watching on today, and he's watching his teammates in an unfamiliar white shirt this afternoon. Borough are in their red home shirt. The players have just emerged from the tunnel. Our commentary position is just up and to the left of the dugouts, at the top of the lower tier of this main stand. And Borough, red home shirt, red shorts, red socks, the new kit. And York in bright white shirts, dark blue shorts and white socks. Ross Joyce is the referee today. He's got Liam Smith, Matt Sowerby and fourth official Conor Ledgway to help him this afternoon. So he's going to blow his whistle and call the captains over. But as I said, York playing without numbers, so this will be something of a challenge for all involved. The irony is even the flipping mascots have got numbers on, haven't they? Yorkie, the lion, has got a #1 on his back. I think somebody's having a laugh at our expense now. Darragh Lenihan with the armband for the Borough, and it looks like the sides are swapping ends. And I wonder if Darragh Lenihan's won the toss, because now York will have the sun in their eyes in the first half.
They're just changing around. It's a lot stronger team. I say a lot stronger. I think you look at the players that have played professional football and been in and amongst it for some time. You can see the players on the pitch. They've also got a couple of young lads there. I'm looking forward to seeing Sam Collins. Sam,
he's a left back today.
Left back, rapid. He's tough as anything, and he's got a real good opportunity now. That left back spot is up for grabs, and he's got good ability, great delivery of the ball, very quick. I'm looking forward to seeing him today.
Morgan Rogers is a good size, isn't he?
Poppy alongside him, and then you've got the two midfielders, Kane Sykes and Barlasser.
Yeah, Morgan Rogers has got bleached blonde hair, and he's just loping round up front as York played along their back line to Duckworth, who is at right back, and his ball down the right hand side is cut out early on by Sam Collins. York have got a throw in, and they'll go back to the edge of their area. So it's BBC Radio T Sport. Mark Drury, Neil Maddison with your commentary. We've got Craig Johns from the Gazette chipping in as and when, and York again keeping possession at the back, the team who finished 19th in the National League last season. Now they go along for striker Lionel John Lewis. He's flicked on down the right hand side, and the flag goes up for a push in the back of Darragh Lenihan, and that is a Borough free kick. Plenty of Middlesbrough fans have made the trip today, Neil, and we were stuck in traffic with them, weren't we, as we made our way around the York Ring Road. And
the last night as well.
Yeah, there was, yeah, and they're taking up most of that stand opposite us down the left wing as Borough attacking this first half from left to right. 1 minute gone, 0-0 in first bit of possession for Borough's central defenders, Darragh Lenihan and Rav Vandenberg.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing Rav Vandenberg. He's a good size.
He's tall.
Yeah, tall, good size. Got a bit of pace about him apparently as well. So,
yes, I was told during the game that Borough played while they were in Portugal against Vitória Guimarães, he had one bit of action where the ball had been played in behind, and it looked to be the striker running in on goal, and he just ate up the ground and got back at him. So we'll see if he's required to do any of that today, as Tommy Smith concedes a free kick inside Borough's half, and York are going to have a chance to put this one into the box if they so wish.
Yeah, Tommy Smith picks up a position there in midfield, central, and just turns into trouble there, and it's a free kick a good 45 yards out, just left hand side, and it's not shooting distance. This will be put into the box.
Yeah, Maz Kouya's just loitering edge of the area. Oh, he's got it now, left corner of the box, left footed cross blocked by Isaiah Jones, and now that's a lovely bit of skill from Sammy Silveira to beat the man. He's got help from Matthew Hoppy in the centre circle. Play will be brought back for an earlier tug on Silveira. First sighting of him today as well, former Central Coast Mariners winger.
His first little touch there to get past the man with ease, wasn't it? And you can see he's blessed with pace,
which is something that Borough have tried to bring into their squad, isn't it, over the last couple of seasons. Kieran Scott has, I'm sure, got that at the top of his list when he's identifying players.
Absolutely. I mean, Sam Collins on the left hand side there. Sam he reminds me actually of Giles, the way he runs, the size of him, the look at him.
If he can cross like Ryan Giles, Borough have got a good one.
No, I like Sam. He's done well in pre-season, and he's got his opportunity this afternoon.
Well, Borough didn't create anything from that free kick, and now here's the York keeper Ryan Whitley taking possession. Everyone's playing like this these days, aren't they? York not just flinging it long, they want to play it to feet, and they've done well there. And it's out to the right wing where Callum Harriott is on the ball, plays it forward a few yards. Lenihan steps in, back he goes to Seny Dieng. First touch with his right foot for Borough's Senegalese keeper. Jones, a step over, tries to beat his man in the process, but it's run out of play, and Thierry Lati Fairweather, the left back for York, has thrown it back to Tyler Cordner. 0-0, 3.5 minutes gone. BBC Radio T Sport, this pre-season friendly between York of the National League and Middlesbrough of the Championship. Harriott, good skill to get away from Collins on the Minster men's right hand side. A step over, tries to beat Lenihan, who stands strong and makes a good tackle. Now Sykes gets Borough moving towards the centre circle. Hoppy takes the ball off him. Rogers is down off the ball, looking at the referee, who waves play on, and Borough finds Silveira halfway line, and he'll play it back into defence.
I'm not sure if he's just clipped his calf there.
Oh, and he's still down.
Rogers,
and the referee, Ross Joyce, has blown the whistle to stop play. And Morgan Rogers is looking up at Callum Howe and asking him, well, what are you playing at? It's friendly. What was that all about?
Well, you know what, it's, for me, they're not friendlies. For me, as I said before, these players here, both players, both sets of teams are getting into the manager's head. You know what we're going to try and show them what they're all about, capable. They need to be in the squad this season, and you play a game of football as it should be played.
Where do you think Morgan Rogers fits in as it stands?
I'm not sure exactly.
Is he potential, or is he one for now? Because obviously he was on loan at Blackpool last season in the Championship as Borough spread it wide to Jones. He's got Smith barrelling forward to the byline, flashes it across goal, nobody there to finish it off, and it's out for a throw-in on the far side.
That's a good move. Nice little ball from Zaya Jones into Smith. Tommy Smith just get his head up a little bit. He puts the ball into the box because he's in the 18-yard box there, but he puts it too hard. It's fizzed right across the goal and nobody's there. It goes out for throwing on the far side to York City.
Ooh, the keeper's got to hustle a bit, doesn't he, as the ball's played across his goal there. Ryan Whitley kept it in play, and now we'll go back to Callum Howe, the right-sided centre half of York. They're in an unfamiliar white shirt, the home team, usually playing red of course, but they've allowed Borough to play in their home kit this afternoon. Unhurried play at the back from the central defenders, and now they'll look for the strikers, but that's well read by Sykes in the middle for Borough. Now Silvera, left hand side, looking for a give and go with Hoppy. Now into the feet of Rogers with his back to goal, edge of the area. To the right of him, Jones trying to beat his man, goes for the near post, and Whitley makes a good save and hangs on. 0-0, 6 minutes gone.
Yeah, Silvera, when he's had the ball, he's looked bright, does really well there. A little set from Hoppy, and it goes into Isaiah Jones on this right hand side, gets past his full back there, and he tries to square it across the goal, but the angle is not quite there, and it goes straight into the keeper's arms.
Craig Jones is tapping away at his keyboard. We'll bring him in just a moment, as York do go along with that one. They were looking for Maz Kuya out on the left wing, and that's comfortably defended. Here's Lenihan short of the centre circle. Rogers has come very deep to get involved here. He's playing up front this afternoon. Matthew Hoppy in the hole behind him. No Chuba Akpom involved. He's taken a knock in training and been recovering. And Borough have got a throw in just past the watching Michael Carrick, who's stood up in front of the seats in the dugout. Tommy Smith throws it back into Borough's half, and Lenihan will pick it up. So let's bring in Craig. Craig, 7 minutes gone. What have you made of it so far?
Yeah, a lot more positive than last night, isn't it? You can see stronger Borough side have already kind of gained control in the game and got a bit of possession, which they like to do under Carrick. Like the look of Kane Sykes so far. I think he's had a really assured start in the middle. So good start so far.
And here is Sykes trying to make a challenge on Latty Fairweather, and it's a good challenge. And he's into another one now with Kuya, because the York left back had made a good tackle of his own on Isaiah Jones, and then he decided to go on a run down the left hand side, tracked by Sykes, who won it off him and then won the subsequent challenge as well. And now here's Silvera turning in the centre circle. 0-0 into the York half he goes. Jones gets it now. Silvera continues his run, gets the ball back, early cross out, and that might go out the ground, or it'll just stay in, and that should be a Borough corner, Neil Maddison.
Yeah, he's drifted from the left hand side there, he's all on this right hand side, and you have that licence. You remember last season with Riley McGree, you know, Ramsey just floating off the wings and causing teams problems. Riley did it last night in the game. I thought he was excellent, you know, caused them a few problems, but he just is it there and flits inside and causes York a few problems.
Borough took the corner short on that right hand side, hasn't got into the box yet. Here's Vandenberg up helping out. Sorry, it's Barlasser, not Vandenberg. Now Jones gets it just to the right of the area, shifts the ball past the defender, who blocks him off and sees it out for a York goal kick. Yeah, Dan Barlasser was a bit part player last season, wasn't he, Neil, having come in the January window. You know, he got minutes, but he wasn't a regular starter, and for a man who was, when he arrived, the joint assist leader in the Championship with Ryan Giles, he'll want more time this season, won't he?
Absolutely. I think, you know, competition for players, that's what you want. That's exactly what you want, all the way through the team, through the positions.
Good play from Harriott for York. He's attacking the Borough defence. He's going for goal from a long way out. Measured it with his left foot, went for the top corner, but it drifted harmlessly wide of that left-hand post to keep the score at 0-0.
You can see that now. I think Harriott, left footer, play on the right-hand side, comes inside, and I mean, he hits it from a good 35-40 yards there. Doesn't get the direction that he needed, but he's looked bright on that right-hand side.
Hoppy Laying the ball off first time to Kane Sykes, who you may have heard the yelp of frustration from him because he's pinged that straight to the feet of his manager, Michael Carrick. And York have got a throw in just short of halfway. Well, the earlier thunder and lightning has gone. Bright sunshine for the players out on the pitch, but having said that, there are some dark clouds rolling in and the breeze is getting up again. So we may yet have some of the spectacular weather we were promised. Here's possession for Ryan Whitley in the York goal. He's just on his penalty spot and looking left for Tyler Cordner. Now to Latty Fairweather, just in front of the Borough bench. Into central midfield, chip down the left. Kuyar heads down. He'll get to his own knockdown ahead of Lenihan, but he's been forced backwards towards the centre circle. Applause from the home fans as he squares it to Duckworth on the right hand side, who continues his run, gets it back from Harriott, puts the cross in deep. Tommy Smith at the back post, a flicked header and a York throw in.
Yeah, good play by York. You know, working from this left hand side all the way to the right hand side. It's a good ball into the box back stick, and Tommy Smith does really well, gets a flick on it, throw it to York in this left hand side spot.
Healthy crowd in, isn't it?
Yeah, there is.
Plenty of York fans, obviously. Really impressive following from Borough once again. Pretty much filling that stand opposite us. Down the length of the left-hand side of the pitch. Borough defend the throw-in well, and now Hoppy on the right wing, just holding it up inside the York half. He's going to switch it left. Morgan Rogers to chase. He should get there and keep it in play. He does. And he's up against Callum Howe, who doesn't want to commit against him. Into the feet of Silvera, edge of the area, try to give and go first time. York block it, Rogers wins it back. Will break for Silvera, who's challenged by Duckworth. And there's Collins helping out, and Borough keeping possession. Smith finds himself in central midfield here. BBC Radio T Sport. Mark Drury and Neil Maddison with his pre-season friendly. Borough second in the space of 24 hours. Lost 2-1 at Hartlepool last night, and it's 0-0 here at York so far this afternoon with 12 minutes gone. Sykes. He was looking for Silvera, who was floating along the front line. It's broken to Jones. Hoppy trying to beat his man on the edge of the area, but Tyler Cordner makes a good tackle.
It is a good tackle, but I don't mind that. When he turns, he tries to get at the centre half there. It's 1v1. If he gets past him, he's 1v1 with the keeper. And to be fair, it's good defending, but it's also, you know, it's not too bad play from Hoppy.
Oh, and the ball's broken kindly to him again here off a York foot. He's just dwelt on it. Challenge came in from Pybus, and York have won it back. He's grown his hair a bit, hasn't he, Matthew Hoppy? I don't know if he's got a nascent mullet going on there or not, the American. As York just play for distance here, and that's easy for Lenihan to knock back to Senny Dieng. Dieng is a really experienced signing, isn't he, to replace Zach Steffen? He's somebody that shouldn't give anyone any worries, should they?
No, I think keeper-wise, you had to bring in a keeper that was experienced and was good with his feet, because you know how we play. And I watched him in the warm-up, and he's kicking out of his hands, his kicking on the floor was really good.
Lenihan playing a ball over the defence for the left-back Collins to chase. The keeper's come a long way out of his goal, and he's sliced that one up onto the roof of the stand. It bounces back down, and all his weight was going backwards, and the ball didn't really go anywhere, Neil. Borough throwing near the corner flag.
He does really well, Sam Collins. He just puts the keeper under pressure, because if he doesn't keep on going, the keeper brings that down and puts it back into the area where you're defending. But he does really well, Sam. Puts him under pressure, and it's a good throw. And
it's offside against Morgan Rogers. Borough played it short. You say Sam Collins, I always think of the former Hartlepool and Hull defender. Remember him, centre back. Very different sort of Sam Collins, this Borough one, isn't he? Charging up and down that left flank. To see Tony McMahon down there, arms crossed. Former Borough full-back. He's assistant to Michael Morton here at York. Stood up, watching the action. Michael Carrick, a mirror image of him, just away to his right. All very calm down there, as you would expect. Nearly quarter of an hour gone. It's goalless. Neither keeper's actually had to make a save yet. As Borough lose possession in the centre circle, and York go back into their own half. They've been taken over in the last couple of weeks as well. Of York. Matt Ugler is the new man in charge. The supporters, of course, took over the running of their own club. They bought out Jason McGill a few years ago, And they've done a really good job, as you were talking about the ground earlier, Neil. What's been achieved here, as Ryan Whitley has picked out the front row of the York bench there, the goalkeeper. I'm not quite sure what he saw there. Tommy Smith throws it back to Rav Vandenberg, and he'll sweep it left to Darrell Lenihan. We've not seen Vandenberg have to do any real defending yet, have we?
You know, that's the key. I think you're looking at, for me, I always look at the new boys. What are they about? You try and get a taste of what they're going to bring to the team. Vandenberg, he hasn't had much to do, but what he has done, he's done really well. He's assured on the ball. And
you can see he wants to bring it out of defence, can't you? Like he did there.
He's comfortable. He's really comfortable on the ball, but you're looking at the other boys, Silvera, he's certainly got a little bit of pace about him, and he'll cause defences problems.
And talking of big seasons, as we were earlier, Isaiah Jones, he was a sensation under Chris Wilder, wasn't he, in Wilder's first season at the club. Really faded from view quite badly last year, and he's spoken over the summer about the troubles he had, the depression he had, the mental health problems. But he says he's back, because there was an incredible number of close family members of his died, weren't there, last year, and obviously anybody would have struggled to deal with that. But he says he's feeling much better now. He's been full of praise for Michael Carrick. Do you remember the messages we were getting? Carrick hates him, there's something gone on there, something, he's got a grudge against him. Well, not a bit of it. Isaiah Jones said that he was grateful for the support of Borough's head coach, and let's hope that he's in a better space this season as Smith crosses low from the right hand side, went to the front post where Rodgers was making a run, and it's Callum Howe who puts it behind for a Borough corner.
Lovely ball from Lenihan into the feet of Tommy Smith, and he puts a lovely ball across the face of the goal, and Morgan Rodgers is there, and it's good defending from York.
Corner taken short again by Borough. Jones to Hoppy, who's dribbled back out to this right hand side, and Smith, Jones, a little shimmy with his back to goal on the edge of the area. Lenihan's got it now, just past the centre circle, chipping it into the box. Hoppy stretching and diverting it well wide of the far post. 0-0, 18th minute of the game here.
Very unlucky. Lovely ball again from Lenihan, and you're right, Hoppy's stretching, trying to put that ball back into the danger area, but it's a little bit too long, goes out for a goal kick. Now, as mentioned before, just in terms of the new boys, you're getting a feel of what they're all about. What are they going to bring to the side? And certainly Silvera, you can see he's quick, he's nimble, and you can see him causing a few problems. Vandenberg at the back looks composed. Rodgers, as yet, I'm just trying. I don't think he's blessed with a lot of pace, but he's certainly got something. He's a good size, but you're still trying to figure out what he is going to bring to the team in terms of
goal threat,
quality, goal threat. So
he's a hell of a size. If he gets that strike going, he should eat up the ground. As Borough switch the point of attack to the left, and that one is too far in front of Silvera. York have got a goal kick. Look at that cloud, Neil Maddison.
that certainly is.
The sun has gone.
It's certainly got
lightning
and thunder in that.
I can see exactly the big cloud that the sun has gone behind. Craig Johns is looking very smug now, aren't you, Craig?
Yeah, well, I am for now. When it starts coming down, if it wets the laptop, then I'm in trouble.
Well, this Kubi we've got here, I've brought a plaggy bag for this. That's as high tech as it gets, of course, at the BBC. Silvera, good touch in the centre circle, tried to release Jones, but the pass too strong, and Whitley will pick up the ball on his goal line. Craig, we're talking about Isaiah Jones there a moment ago. He's been through a hell of a lot, hasn't he? It would be almost like a new signing in many ways if Borough get the old Isaiah Jones back.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you mentioned, how good he was under Chris Wilder. I know he was playing as a right wing back then, but of course he was, when he first came through, naturally a winger. And when Carrick brought in the formation he did, you thought he'd be tailor-made. So, hopefully he can get back to that form, because we know what a game changer he can be.
Kuyar trying to be a game changer for York here out on the left hand side. He's taking on Smith. Smith backs off to the edge of the area. Matty Fairweather, the fullback, is up in support. York playing it short. They didn't want to just sling it into the box there. Matty Fairweather's beaten two men, but not a third. And there's the first bit of defending for Vandenberg, who makes a good header clear, and he got a shoulder in the back from John Lewis as he cleared it, and gets a free kick 2-0.
It's the first real crossing into the box from York, and it goes into near post, and Vandenberg's there. Rav Vandenberg clears it, but you can see the York player just comes in behind, gives him a nudge. Referee gives a free kick.
20 minutes gone. York 0, the Borough 0. And Vandenberg's annoyed there with Tommy Smith, who played it behind him to Senny Dieng and not into the Dutchman. Chip long to
Offside.
Rogers, who takes the ball down and is indeed flagged offside. And the oohs in the background are because he decided to swing his left boot at the ball anyway, lobbed it over the keeper Whitley and hit the ball off the face of the crossbar.
I think it's going to lash down.
My fear,
You
Neil,
can see the rain in the distance, look.
I know, my fear is that the wind comes with it and blows it right in on top of us. Because we are technically undercover, but it doesn't feel it, does it? The skies have got very dark. And of course, if we do have lightning, then, and if it's in the vicinity, they'll have to go off, won't they?
Yeah.
There's the wind.
Yeah.
It's coming, everyone. York. Bit of an aimless pass long there from Callum Howe. Dieng out of his area, sweeping up for Borough. Short pass to Vandenberg. There's just a buzz, isn't there, around the stadium as everyone's looking up and
looking in the sky.
and the people in the front rows are suddenly going, oh, I need to head for the back.
There's a lot of people looking at the sky and starting to put the coats on. That has got everything in it, that.
Substitutes thinking now might be a good time to pop into the dressing room because I've forgotten something. As Vandenberg gets the ball in the right back position for Borough. Bit of pressure comes from Hancox and Dieng to Lenihan. Borough composed on the ball. Sykes joining in the middle of the pitch. Barlassa dropping in as well.
I agree with regarding Kane Sykes. I think he's been excellent. Just kept things simple.
As Hoppy tries to break the offside trap. Was that a flash of lightning there? It's Whitley who picks it up. And now rolling it out to Tyler Cordner.
It was, because there's the thunder.
Yeah. I feel like, you know in Sleeping Beauty when Maleficent appears and the Forest of Thorns grows around the castle, it's got that sort of vibe. You can tell I've got 3 girls, can't you? Manel John Lewis turns it round the corner as it's played into him up front, but couldn't find Harriott, and Borough get it safely back to Senny Dieng. Look at the Borough fans on the far side, Neil,
well,
who are all lining up. There's a viewing platform at the back of the stand, and the front rows are starting to empty as they head for cover.
And also the floodlights will be going on. They are going on.
Yeah, and they need to as well, actually.
It is pitch black, isn't it?
It is indeed. Hoppy tackled there, but it broke for Barlassa. You see Silvera's coming off the left wing. Couldn't quite find him with that ball slid down the side of the centre half. Hoppy heads the clearance back down the right wing for Borough. Rogers will keep it in play near the corner flag. The wind getting up there, some more lightning.
Yeah.
Rogers heading for the area. He's got Hoppy, edge of the 6-yard box, who feels a bump and goes down. Ross Joyce, the referee, isn't giving a penalty for that.
You know what?
And it will be a York goal kick as Michael Carrick has just mooched around and taken a look up, and this rain is starting to really sile down now.
I've got a funny feeling that he's going to take the players in.
I wouldn't be surprised,
because the lightning's in the sky. It is absolutely teeming down now, and if
it's black as night.
It is, yeah.
And I think we're about to get very wet, Neil, as York go along. Yeah, here comes the rain. I'm going to have to reach for that plaggy bag. Definitely. The matchbook's getting closed up.
Dear me.
You're going to have to keep talking while I find that bag. Oh, this is torrential.
This is monsoon, by the way, and it is pitch black. He's going to take the players off. Yeah. It's lightning as well.
Ross Joyce blows his whistle. Oh my good God.
Yeah, get your plaggy bag quickly.
You hold that, Neil.
Andy! Real, want it? Oh, dear God.
Welcome back, everybody, to York's Community Stadium. Well, I don't know what happened there, because we could hear you, but apparently you couldn't hear us. And Neil, the players have left the pitch. We, in the press box, are getting absolutely soaked. And we've just had the mother of all storms, haven't we?
That was, I mean, you talk about storms and how bad they were, but it was, seriously, it just turned black. The lightning was there, the thunder was there, and it was monsoon, wasn't it? It's just cleared.
It's still raining now. It is just what you call normal heavy rain.
Yeah,
but
it's past.
There's a bit of blue up there, enough for a sailor's suit, as our granny would have said once upon a time, but still plenty of black clouds around.
Yeah, it's not. You can see it's past in the distance there, and I'm certain the next few minutes of players will come back out. It's certainly died down.
It's a good thing I brought that plastic bag.
Yeah, but there's about 10 to 15 rows in front of us, and everyone's disappeared.
Yeah, everybody is behind us. Craig Johns to your left. he has got everybody. He's taken his jacket off. He's placed it over the top of his laptop, and his head is under there. It's like when you're a kid and you hide from a monster, because you know that if the monster can't see you, if you can't see the monster can't see you. Is that about right, Craig?
Yeah, and that was a monster, whatever that storm was. Dear me, that didn't half come down.
Well, I remember a few years ago, I think it was 4 years ago now, Borough played Sunderland in a pre-season friendly at the Riverside, and that was abandoned at half time, wasn't it, because of something similar. I wasn't at that one. I was in a caravan in Beadnell Bay, and that was spectacular. I can well imagine why the game was called off.
Believe it or not, I was there that night covering Sunderland.
Were you?
I was on the Sunderland duty at that time, yeah.
So how did this compare to that?
Well, at least at the Riverside you're well up the top and well covered. Here we didn't have much cover, unfortunately, did we?
Nope. Aaron Danks has just emerged, Borough's first team coach from the tunnel. He's got his hood up and the drawstrings tightly pulled around to keep him as dry as he can. Neil, have you ever had anything like this in your playing career? Oh, sorry, he's reached for the chocolate. Oh, we'll have to...
I'm okay.
We'll have to wait, everybody, for his wit and wisdom.
Not really, I think. I mean, you could see that coming.
Yeah, well, we didn't we?
It was rolling in, it was pitch black, the lights went on. All of a sudden we had sunny weather, then all of a sudden it just rolled in, and it went pitch black, and then the thunder and lightning and the rain just absolutely teamed down.
So at the moment we have
right now.
Yeah, at the moment we have an empty pitch. We have a lonely looking football in the centre circle, and as Neil Madison says, an awful lot of empty seats in front of us, and people massed all around us and behind us, and there are the cheers for the re-emergence of the players. A little laugh and a smile from Darrell Lenihan as he leads the Borough out, and we'll see how long it takes York to join us. Not very is the answer. Here they come. So the clock on the far side has stopped at 24 minutes and 40. Rock the Casbah from the Clash is booming around the ground, and Ross Joyce is back out with his linesman too. So we're about to get back underway here. So we've had a stoppage because of a thunderstorm. We've got a home team without a single number on the backs. What more can this afternoon throw at us, Neil, do you think?
I hope a few goals.
It would be nice. Your job is to hang on to that plastic bag. I'm just going to try and shake some of the rain off it before we place it back. If Simon, our engineer, is listening, we're doing you proud, Simon. We're doing you proud. Right, that matchbook of mine's staying closed. That's sopping as well. So play will restart in a moment with a drop ball in Middlesbrough's half. Even the lines are starting to look a bit faint, aren't they? Such was the strength of that downpour. And we are back underway, and York have won it back quickly. Kouya, Linnell John Lewis, left side of the area.
Sit down, mate.
There's a man in front of us who's stood right in the way.
Here, sit down.
I'll get it.
Sit down, please. Thank you very much. Try to commentate on a football match. There's press box etiquette for you. Oh, you're meant to hang on to that bag, Neil. It was flush in the face. York have got a throw in near the corner flag on the left. Borough have defended through Jones, and York have got their first corner of the afternoon. Well, this is eventful. BBC Radio T Sport. York 0, Middlesbrough 0, Storm 1. It's been the big winner so far. York to take this corner from the left-hand side, and they've got everybody lined up on the edge of the area. Now they will sprint towards the goal as the corner's delivered long. and that's well cleared by Dan Barlasser. As the skies are brightening, York chipping it forward again. Kuyar attacks it. Hoppy wins the header, goes for the loose ball. Kane Sykes a 1-2 with Jones, and a tackle from Pybus came in on Sykes just as he was trying to break forward. At the back it's Whitley, he hits it long, and Lenihan will just cushion the ball down to his left back Collins. And you look at the sky now, Neil Maddison, it's as if it never happened, isn't it? Totally different feel.
Yeah, it's
sun coming back out.
Sun's starting to come back out. It's like clouds now, but it's forecast, isn't it? So
we may yet have another stoppage. Yeah. As the afternoon goes on.
It's got a zip about the pitch now, hasn't it? Though the rain.
Yeah, livened it up, hasn't it? As Tommy Smith, Borough's right back, has got a throw in here.
I wonder if that storm had hit York Racers, because York Racers on it.
Yeah, you told me that. Yeah, on the way in. I didn't realise York Racers was on. There'll be plenty of people in their finery might well have been caught out by that. Lovely day out, York Racers, isn't it? Borough looking for Hoppy in midfield, couldn't find him. Barlasser snapping into the tackles and winning it back, and now he's found himself just behind Tommy Smith in the right back position. Barlasser into the feet of Hoppy, who again has dropped deep. Barlasser under pressure. Barlasser fouled. No, he's not fouled. The referee says fair tackle. York have got a throw in out on the left wing. It's 0-0 and we are in the 28th minute. I think I'm starting to dry out a little. I am glad I wore the shorts in the end.
Yeah, mine is soaking.
Absolutely ridiculous, eh?
Taking this off.
British summer. Well, you keep it within reach. That plastic bag. It saved the day once, it may have to again. That's done now for your hair, though, that. Lenihan heads it down into midfield. Sykes a good pass. You can't. Hoppy looking for Jones, who's just eased off it by Latty Fairweather. The left back followed him into the area and made a good tackle. No, it's minimalist, my hair, as you know. York playing it along their back line to Duckworth, who's at right back this afternoon. That one broke into midfield. Pybus had to stretch to keep it alive for the home team. Harriott helping it down the right hand side. Bounces back to him of Lenihan. York had a 2-on-1 if the touch had been better there from the midfielder Dyson, but he couldn't take it in. And it ends up in the hands of Senny Dieng in the Borough goal. 0-0. Approaching the half-hour mark here. After us this afternoon be Jordan Blythe at 3 o'clock. Obviously depending on how many more stoppages we get. Seagulls have broken cover now. They think it's safe as well. Heading for the skies from behind that stand opposite us. As Borough show patience. Back to Dieng. We still haven't actually had a shot on target, have we? Do you know, or a shot full stop from Borough?
You know, I think pre-season games, last night, seen it, been there, done it so many times in them games, and yet
Vandenberg under pressure loses the ball on the edge of the area, but emerges with a goal kick and apologises to Dan Barlasser.
And it's just, you know, it's getting used to each other, it's getting used to the way you play. Just at the moment it's a little bit scrappy. Tempo's a little bit dead as well, and yeah, it's their first pre-season game.
Barlasser taking the ball under pressure. That's what you've got to do as a Michael Carrick player. You've got to be available and happy to receive the ball whatever's going on. But he's been robbed of it. Out to the left hand side. Latty Fairweather's up in support. The cross goes in. Vandenberg turns and heads clear just 10 yards outside the area. Now to Harriott on the right hand side. Harriott has got midfield help. Kuyar's come over from the left hand side to help out on the right. York's still not prepared to put it into the box just yet. Duckworth might. He's going to chip it for the run of Harriott, who will chase, and the ball will beat him. Out of play it goes. Goal kick, 0-0, half an hour gone.
The thought process for the pass was right, but they've just had a downpour, the grass is slippy, and there was no room for him to just play that ball. He plays it and it just skips out to play a goal kick to us.
Senny Dieng plays it short to Lenihan. Well, Michael Carrick be thinking at the moment, Neil, do you think Borough started quite brightly, but not really, even allowing for the stoppage in play? They've not reconstructed much of note in the last 10 minutes or so.
As I said before, I think the first two games, this one as well, it's all about the minutes, it's all about fitness. Later on in pre-season here we'll be looking at quality. He still is looking for quality, don't get me wrong, but if it's not quite there now, it's understandable. You back off, you're in pre-season, you're trying to get that fitness up, you're trying to get that sharpness up, and these games will bring that, hopefully.
Thierry Latty Fairweather just into the Borough half, pinged it into the feet of his striker John Lewis, who couldn't control. Smith to Silvera, who's just at the base of the centre circle, and he'll slip the pass away to Darragh Lenihan, Borough's captain this afternoon. The ground he used to play at, Silvera, for Central Coast Mariners, they're playing Gosford, and I've been to Gosford in Australia, and it is the most beautiful ground, three-sided, and at the end away to the right, palm trees, and just beyond that the road and the harbour. It is one of the most beautiful sports grounds I've ever seen. Well, he's here now. He's a Middlesbrough player, and he's going to have the delights of the Riverside this season, and hopefully the Borough fans will have the joy of seeing him, because he's shown some pace and some brightness in the early stages, Neil, and we'll hope that he can prove a useful addition.
Yeah, he certainly has. He's been bright, he's been, as you see, balls in tight areas, and he's looked alright, to be fair.
Couillard held it up well. Now Latty Fairweather, an early cross from the left hand side over his striker and over everyone. Sam Collins will see that out for a Borough throw-in as the York fans applaud their left back for his ambition, if nothing else. A few Borough players, substitutes, going through their warm-up exercises at the moment. On the bench today, goalkeeper Tom Glover. I wonder if he'll get 45 minutes, Neil, in the second half. One of the two goalkeepers to arrive over the last 7 days. Senny Dieng, the other, of course, who's playing in the first half.
Yeah, I think you're looking to get minutes, on the pitch. And he'll be one of them, certainly. He's his keeper. You've got three keepers in the building so far, and also the guys that have been on the bench. Max McCarth and Popple there as well, so they'll be getting games during pre-season.
Through and taken short on the left-hand side. Collins accelerates away from one challenge, but not the second. He's chopped down. Borough with a free kick, and again it'll go back to Senny Dieng in the Borough goal. Floodlights are still on, but the sun is coming out again here. I'm not taking this cap off again, I made that mistake in the first half, and look what happened, or earlier in the half, and look what happened. Senny Dieng's waving everyone forward here as he just ambles out of the box with the ball at his feet.
You talk about pre-season games, and this is a typical pre-season game, isn't it?
It's feeling very pre-season right now. Matthew Hoppy's making a run. The ball might eventually find its way to him. Oh, he's made a good challenge, and he's set free Rodgers. Rodgers in on goal. Challenge comes in. He dwelt on it, and that gave Callum Howe the chance to get back at him, slide in and toe poke the ball away.
Well, as he gets there, I said, you better hurry up, and he doesn't. He slows down, the tackle comes in, he's one-on-one with the keeper, and he thinks he's got more time than he has, and to be fair, it's a great defensive tackle, but to be fair to Morgan Rodgers, he's got to be better there. He's got to do better. He's got to get on top of that ball quickly and stick it in the back of the net. You see in AJ Matthews last night, you don't have enough time at any level, to look and to think, and you've got to be instinctive, get there quickly and stick it in the back, and far too slow in good defensive challenge.
Yeah, AJ Matthews wasn't one for hanging about last night, was he? As soon as he got a sight of goal, he let rip.
Yeah, and he has to do that there, Morgan Rodgers. I just think he looks and he thinks he's got more time than he has, and you see him slow down, and you're thinking, well, there's going to be a defender chasing you. You've got to speed up there, and you've got to try and stick it in the back of the net, and unfortunately he doesn't.
Yeah, Morgan Rodgers was saying after signing for Borough that when he played against them with Blackpool last season, he came off the pitch going, what a team they are. Now Collins, a chance to attack down the left hand side. He'll have to go some to keep the ball in, and he couldn't. He was a yard or two short, and it's a shame because he'd made a late run and he was in acres of space out on that left hand side.
Yeah, he's pushed on well, Sam Collins there, and he's got into that channel. Unfortunately, he's a little bit too long for him, skips off the floor with the rain that we've had and goes out for throwing to York City.
Right back position, Michael Duckworth to take it, flirting with a bit of danger there, but Dan Pybus let the ball run across him and kept possession. Now Fairweather, the left back, is dragging it back with the studs of his right boot. His keeper clears, sits up and headed infield by Smith for Borough. And then I'm not quite sure what they were doing there. They've overplayed and popped it back into their own half and conceded a throw-in. Michael Carrick waving his team forward as York go back into their own half. Tyler Cordner will drive that long on the diagonal out to the York right. Well read by Collins. His header stayed in play though. Duckworth going round the outside of him. Duckworth escapes the challenge. John Lewis, edge of the area, lays it off. Support is available on the left from Latty Fairweather, who gets it now. Couillard 10 yards forward of him, heading for the byline, policed by Smith. York win a corner.
That's good play by York again. There it comes from the right hand side, down this left hand side. Smith gets a block in, goes out for a corner ball
to be taken by somebody eventually out on the left. Michael Duckworth looks to be the man who's coming across from the right hand side.
It looks like it's going to be swung in, doesn't it?
Well, there's nobody offering themselves short. You've got Couillard stood just in front of Seni Dieng in the 6-yard box, and players starting to make runs now as it's a high hanging one beyond the back post. To battle for it in the 6-yard box, and Dieng is able to comfortably pick it up as a result. York 0, Middlesbrough 0, 38th minute on BBC Radio T Sport. Well, we had what was it, about 7 or 8 minutes stoppage, do you think, for that thunderstorm, the lightning and the torrential rain forcing the players from the pitch. Jones has switched with Silvera to that left hand side now, and he went for a 1-2, and again the return ball from Matthew Hoppy just too strong, and York have a throw in as a result.
The game is similar to last night. Passing's been off a little bit. You haven't retained the ball, haven't really got into good areas to cause them problems. There's been 1 or 2 passes that have been good that just haven't quite come off, and the best chance to Morgan Rogers, obviously, he just slows down, doesn't see the defender behind him, and the tackle comes in, and really you should be thinking he's got to be scoring there. But
yeah, Borough's best chance and the game's best chance so far, the one that Morgan Rogers was too slow to get away. Jones hunting the ball, forcing Duckworth backwards. The right back is just outside his area. He tried a 1-2 with Ollie Dyson, but York overplay. Borough with a throw-in, attacking position on the left hand side. Back down the line, Barlasser, square pass in field, and Kane Sykes is chopped down as he takes possession, and the whistle goes for a Borough free kick. Everybody had retreated and run for cover has now reclaimed their seats down in front of us, but there'll be a few wet bums down there now.
Blue sky now, isn't it? Coming out, the sun's coming out. I can't believe the lights are still on.
Especially with the price of electricity these days, yeah. Mind, once they're on, it's probably more expensive to turn them back on if they have to. Borough keeping it on halfway here. Lenihan puts the ball in between 2 white-shirted York players as they close him down, and that's well worked to Smith on the right. Jones wants the ball into his path. Smith couldn't find him, but won it back as Silvera on the D, being mobbed. Rogers has got it in the area, wants it on his left foot, couldn't get the shot away, but Collins will, and it's tipped round the post for a corner.
Yeah, good play around the 18-yard box. Morgan Rogers there, quick feet, gets it out to the left hand side, and Sam Collins is inside the 18-yard box on an angle, hits it first time, side foots it with a bit of power there. Good save from the keeper.
Borough's corner to be taken on the left. Their previous ones have been on this right hand side, and again they go short. They haven't put a single corner into the box, have they, so far this afternoon? Jones throwing the defender onto him, just accelerating away, laying the ball off to his right. Barlasser to Smith. Smith pulls the trigger, fires it straight at the head of Cordner, who might be seeing stars right now as that one ricochets away for a throw-in on this right-hand side. Michael Carrick, unsurprisingly, has got a rain jacket on at the moment as his team have the ball on the halfway line. Half-time approaching, 4 minutes away. This game is goalless. More Borough subs heading for a little jog up and down. AJ Matthews is one of them, just in front of us.
AJ Bridges in front of him.
Wonder if we'll end up with a team of 11 AJs at some point. There's Vandenberg. Good touch as he got the ball back just inside the York half. He's continued his run as he lays the ball off to Kane Sykes. A step over from Jones, well read by Latty Fairweather. Wasn't fooled. Kouya to Harriott, who takes the ball on the centre spot. Wants some support, gets it from his left back, but Michael Morton, the York manager, was frustrated there because his team were on the front foot and they let the momentum die.
Should have come out to Kouya there. He's impressed me for York City, Kouya. He's done all right.
Did last year as well, if I remember rightly, in the pre-season friendly. As that's flicked on and well cleared by the Borough. Duckworth gets it, short of halfway. Sells a dummy to Silvera, hangs on to it. And again, York have gone backwards from a position on the halfway line. Here's Cordner, the left-sided centre-back. He'll be given the ball back by Latty Fairweather. And he'll look for his keeper Ryan Whitley, who's playing it short from the edge of the area. Well, you were talking with Mickey Barron last night, Neil, about the way Borough play and the game that Hartlepool were playing as well. And you went, it won't be like this in the National League. Well, it might be if they play York, because that appears to be the way they want to play.
I think if the opposition tend to play football, and if you're technically good, you tend to do the same thing. I think sometimes at this level you get dragged into a messy.
As Kouya drags in Smith and gets away from him, John Lewis with the shot from the edge of the area, which he got underneath and sent sailing over Senny Dieng's crossbar.
A good play from York, sets him at the edge of the box and it's just behind him slightly. He goes for the first time shot and puts it over the bar. But yeah, I think, as I said before, I think sometimes at this level, if you're playing a tough Route 1 team, you sort of get dragged into the way they play. You know, good teams play their possession football, get the ball down as quickly as they can and try and create opportunities that way. But we know that league is all about it. It's a real tough league,
as is the Championship, of course, as Silvera gets taken down on halfway, but he goes his pass to Rogers. Rogers slides it down the left, and there waiting is Jones. Jones tackled by the retreating Pybus, and that is a Borough throw-in. Morgan Rogers has got the ball in his hand. He's roughly level with the penalty spot out there. Then he's going to let Sam Collins take the throw-in instead. Dan Barlasser having a word with the referee, Ross Joyce, and
I think there's a minute left, isn't there?
Yeah, we're in the final minute of the first half, and Borough getting another free kick, and again it's Kane Sykes who's ended up on his knees on the deck. He's been busy, hasn't he? Been involved in a lot of what Borough have done, Kane Sykes.
Yeah, he's comfortable. Sykes on the ball. It's just, I haven't seen that long range passing that he possesses. It's been neat and tidy, and
yeah, he's a compact looking player, isn't he?
He's a good player.
Black curly hair, and he's busy. He's trying to get on the ball as often as he can. 1 and 2 touch stuff, but he's walking back towards the halfway line here as that Borough move breaks down and York have got themselves a throw-in. Michael Duckworth to take it. Final 10 seconds of this first half. You're listening to BBC Radio T Sport with Mark Drury and the former Borough midfielder Neil Maddison, as Linnell John Lewis heads the throw-in and Ross Joyce blows the whistle to bring the first half to an end. Neil, Michael Carrick and his coaching staff are heading for the changing room. We know there are a wealth of young substitutes that he could choose to throw in, but do you think he'll keep things as they are for a little?
I think so. I think he'll keep as many on the pitch as he can, get the minutes in the legs and possibly give them 60-70 minutes, and then you'll start to see substitutions. But similar to last night, I think at times overplayed, haven't really got the passing going. Had some good movements, but it's what you class as a typical pre-season game. You have the ball, we have the ball, no real energy to the game, I would say. It's been a pretty laid back game, but that'll come. I think the energy will certainly come. The energy in terms of tempo to the game, you'll demand from your players, and it's the first game for some of the players. So, although they played out in Portugal, didn't they? But but for the majority of them, it's the first game, and as I said, it's a typical pre-season game.
Just watching Senny de Jong and Rav Vandenberg having a little word as they were the last Borough players off the pitch, and it's all about getting to know each other at this stage as well, isn't it? De Jong and Vandenberg, well, why aren't you giving me it there? Well, you have to go there, and this is how we'll work it.
And there's some new faces, and don't forget as well, there's some academy players there, so you're looking at the new faces, how they play, you're getting used to each other. But at this moment in time, it's very similar to last night. A few straight passes, slow tempo to the game, and both teams are quite comfortable in possession. There hasn't been no real crunching tackles in, although there was one from a York City player which I think
Morgan
Rogers got up and just said, what are you doing there? But I said to you before, I think you've got to play with that tempo, you've got to play with that bite in pre-season. Get used to the game of football really quickly.
Well, the music's appropriate, isn't it? Club Tropicana, because the skies have cleared completely. It's brilliant sunshine again. Let's get the Gazette's verdict, shall we? Craig Johns, the Gazette's Borough man, is here. What do you make of that first half?
Yeah, I echo a lot of the thoughts that Maddo's been sharing there. I think typical pre-season game, isn't it? I think, up to a point, the first kind of 2/3 of the pitch, I think Borough have done reasonably well and been okay in possession, working it through the lines like Michael Carrick would like them to do. I think you get to that final third, and to be fair, as Maddo has said, they're 4 forward players there who won't be familiar with each other, won't be familiar with each other's game, and it kind of breaks down a lot when it gets to that area, doesn't it? They're not quite carving open the chances because they just aren't familiar with each other's game, and so passes are maybe not quite where they'd want. They're not quite using each other to the strengths yet, but that's all part of getting to know one another, and of course this early in pre-season they're still building up that sharpness as well, so that won't quite be there yet either, which is I think what we saw when Rogers ran through on goal and had what should have been the best chance of the first half.
I was just thinking about that laptop of yours, which you safely protected from the monsoon. Is that the same laptop that got soaked at Luton at the end of last season?
It was, yeah. It's back alive now.
It's like Puss in Boots. It's on that. How many of its 9 lives has it been used up now?
Yeah, that was an awful day. That in the toilet at Kenilworth Road, I was getting a few funny looks as I was under the hand dryer trying to dry the laptop out.
If I was Michael Carrick and you're looking at the team and he'd have seen both games tonight, he'll be thinking we need a little bit more. I know it's only pre-season, but you tend to look at games and you have your thoughts on how you want the game to be played, and the players that you've brought in, they'll get better as time goes on, don't get me wrong, and they'll get sharper and quicker and the zip will be there, but I still feel we've got to do a little bit more business. I still feel there's that.
Well, I mean,
and don't get me wrong,
we know they're
Tuba's
trying.
not here.
We know they're trying.
Yeah, Tuba's not here, and Tuba makes a massive difference. Johnny Howson in that midfield, just that leadership quality that he brings to the side and demands from the players as well. That's missing. So I still feel, there's certainly more business to be done.
Okay then. At the break here then at York's LNER Community Stadium, it is goalless. It is York 0, Middlesbrough 0. This is Borough's second pre-season friendly in the space of 24 hours, because last night they went to Hartlepool United and they lost 2-1. There's John Askey speaking to Rob Law after Hartlepool beat the Borough by 2-1 on BBC Radio T Sport last night. in a pre-season friendly. Borough's players are back out. We are awaiting York City. Second half commentary of this pre-season friendly is coming next. Welcome back to York's LNER Community Stadium. The York players are out on the pitch without any numbers on their shirts, and our referee Ross Joyce is walking towards the centre circle with the ball in his hand. It doesn't look, Neil Maddison, as if Michael Carrick has made any changes yet.
No, it doesn't. I mean, they've been warmed up. I think there's one, is there?
Oh, is
keeper, the keeper. Yeah, the keeper.
Oh, of course, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, Tom Glover's in goal.
Tom Glover's come off.
Senny Dieng is presumably getting a shower right now, so Borough have got their new Australian goalkeeper between the sticks for the second half, a man who arrived from Melbourne City, having previously had a spell at Tottenham Hotspur where he didn't quite make the grade. They'll be hoping to get an opportunity at some point at the Borough.
He's a good size. Yeah, he's a real good size for a keeper.
Well, he's currently going through some warm-up exercises, Tom Glover, on the edge of the Borough box, which is away to our right. Michael Carrick's team are attacking the goal to our left in the second half. They're in their home strip, their new red shirt with those two white lines around the chest, white bands rather, red shorts and red socks with the blue trim. And Matthew Hoppy has been caught offside very early on in the second half. York in a white away shirt with dark blue shorts and white socks. Borough with Glover in goal then in the second half. Sam Collins, Darragh Lenihan, Rav Vandenberg and Tommy Smith at the back. Kane Sykes and Dan Barlaser in midfield. Sammy Silvera, Matthew Hoppy and Isaiah Jones supporting the striker Morgan Rogers. Now it's York's turn to be caught offside. It doesn't look like they've made any changes. Ryan Whitley in goal. Michael Duckworth, Callum Howe, Tyler Cordner and Thierry Latty-Fairweather at the back. Dan Pybus, Ollie Dyson and Mitch Hancock's in midfield. Linnell, John Lewis up front. Callum Harriott and Maz Kuyar out wide. A word on the weather, it's still clear, although as I look above the stand to our left with the back of the cinema looming over it, looming over all of that is another dark cloud, Neil Maddison. I'm going to keep the plastic bag close at hand.
It's not as dark as the other one.
No. Few clouds are as dark as that one was. Rogers in a tussle on the far side with Kuyar. He's got away from him, he's cutting it back. Hoppy just beaten to the punch on the 6-yard line and catches his man in the process. York free kick, but that's the best we've seen so far from Morgan Rogers now.
Yeah, it is. Does really well, uses out muscles the guy, squares it to Hoppy, who's literally in the 6-yard box there, and the defender does really well, just gets in front of him and just stops Hoppy from putting it in the back of the net.
We haven't had a crowd figure and attendance given to us, but Middlesbrough have travelled in numbers again today. Borough fans occupying the entire stand opposite us, the length of the pitch down what is the York left-hand side as they launch an attack. Dyson finds himself out on the left wing, but he finds himself beyond the touchline with the ball because he's overrun it. Tommy Smith to take the throw in. 2 minutes of the second half gone. York 0, the Borough 0 on BBC Radio T Sport. Following us at 3, it will be Jordan Blythe. And any reaction that we get from the Borough camp, from Michael Carrick and hopefully a player or two as well, you'll be able to get online through our Twitter feed at BBC T Sport and through the BBC Radio T Sport website page.
Good play from us.
Can't play at the back, yeah. Lenihan flicking it over an attacker as he was closed down, and then oh dear, Sam Collins crossed halfway, saw Silvera in front of him and just hit it out off his ankle. It looked like skewed it left, and it's a York throw-in.
Just gets away from him there, running with the ball. And Silvera just in that little channel there, just needs a nice little ball into him and just puts it out of play, Sam Collins.
Callum Harriott is actually cuddling Collins here, isn't he, on the halfway line, trying to put him off as Duckworth takes the throw in, then heads it forward, bouncing into the chest of Harriott. Harriott backing in, Sykes makes a tackle. York have got a throw in pretty much on the halfway line. 0-0, BBC Radio T Sport, Mark Drury, Neil Maddison, and guest comments from the Gazette's Craig Johns, who is currently hard at work. A yard or two to our left on his laptop. Teesside Live for all of Craig's stuff. York keeping it with Tyler Cordner, but keeping it briefly because Matthew Hoppy's pressure put him off and he ran out of play with the ball at his feet. Smith's throw back to Rav Vandenberg. First time we've seen the Dutchman, who signed from PEC Zwolle. And told Borough got a really good deal out of that one. They were having to fend off competition from some Italian giants in Roma and AC Milan. But the Dutchman has opted for life in the Championship with the Borough because he thinks it'll be a short stay and off to the Premier League. Well, I hope he's right as Jones treads on the ball, looks like he's going to lose it, and then stretches out his right foot and wins it back. Lenihan, left of the centre circle to Collins, just in front of us, out on the wing. Back into midfield, Barlasser, edge of the centre circle, lends it to Jones and gets it back, and now Vandenberg just short of the centre spot. That wind's whipping up again. There might be more weather on the way as Morgan Rogers is given a tough ball to deal with out there. Jones played it blind round the corner and it's skewed out off the outside of Rogers' foot for a York throw-in.
I said it's similar to last night, and it is, because passing's just been off, and the one thing that we haven't really done other than Morgan Rogers' chance is get into real good areas. You know, areas of the pitch where you're causing them problems. It's all been in front of York.
Ooh, that was a nasty tackle in the middle of the pitch. Barlasser's down. Oh, Sykes, beg your pardon, you're right. Sykes down, he felt that one, but he's back up now. Hoppy on this left-hand side, the pass just goes awry. He was slid it infield to Silvera, but Silvera couldn't possibly reach it.
Yeah, pretty much sums it up, doesn't it? You know, the pass there is wayward where it shouldn't be. It should be a nice, simple pass into him.
Yeah. Final third, that's where it's broken down so far this afternoon. Now, last night, the impetus came from the bench, didn't it, with the youngsters, the academy products. We wonder, will the same happen this afternoon?
I certainly think that, you know, after 60-70 minutes you'll start seeing changes. Said first pre-season game for some of the boys, and well, the second, and after about 70 minutes you've got them minutes in the leg which are massively important. Then you give someone else a chance, and
good work from Collins to win the ball back inside the York half. Now Lenihan, the captain, well, Hoppy I think was offside and the pass didn't reach him anyway. There's Thierry Latty Fairweather. That's the Borough fans you can hear in the background, making the noise, singing their songs as they watch York playing it laterally on the edge of their area. Now Tyler Cordner is going to boot it long, diagonal out to the right wing. Collins flicks the header out of play. It's a throw-in, and I think a little word there for Dan Pybus from the referee Ross Joyce about that tackle on Kane Sykes, which was what, three or 4 minutes ago now?
Yeah, it was.
The ball hadn't got out since.
Sykes, he gets up straight away. AJ Matthews warming up, Jack Stott warming up. I thought both of them did really well last night, especially, I mean, both of them, I would say. Jack Stott in midfield, I thought he was really comfortable, got on the ball and started spraying the ball about, and AJ obviously gets his goal, but he was sharp off the ball as well, looked after it well.
I wonder if they've had the nod. Rogers, middle of the pitch, lovely through ball to Silvera, inside left channel, cuts in field on his right foot, goes for the curler, and not far away from the top corner.
Yeah, it's a good ball from Rogers into Silvera, left hand side, and he just drifts down the wing, cuts inside to the edge of the box, and the angle is there to just bend it in the far corner. He tries to do that, he gets power on the shot, but just goes way past the far post.
Not the tallest, is he, from this vantage point, Sammy Silvera? 5'9", possibly, something like that. Thierry Latty Fairweather's a big size, the York left back. Yeah, he's done well, and he's switched the play to Harriott on the right. Heading for the edge of the area, left-footed shot, ricochets back out to Duckworth, who chops back in field. Now Kuya on the volley, he hit it well, and he drew a good save out of Glover at the near post, who clung on under the crossbar.
It was a good ball, hits the shot, and to be fair, it just surprises Glover, but he does really well with it.
Miscontrolled by Hoppy there on the halfway line, out off his thigh. Let's bring Craig Johns in again from the Gazette. Craig, good save from Glover, but that was about as good as York have looked so far this afternoon, that move.
Yeah, they worked it well, didn't they? And it was routine in the end for Glover, but always good for a goalkeeper, isn't it, early to get the gloves on it and make the catch comfortable. But I'm sure he'll be happy to have done that early on.
What have you made of Sammy Silvera's contribution so far this afternoon?
He's lively, isn't he? He hasn't had much chance to make much happen, but certainly he's nippy on that left wing, and certainly watching his highlights at Central Coast Mariners, that's the type of move he likes, isn't it? Getting the ball, isolating the defender and cutting in onto his right foot. So I think we'll see a lot of him trying to do that kind of thing.
Thanks, Craig. I think, Neil, we're going to see some changes now. Jonathan Woodgate has just been beckoning some of Borough's subs back to the bench.
Yeah, the three that's coming on is Jack Stott, AJ Matthews and Jack Hanna.
Well, York have got a throw in here because Collins, Borough's left back, couldn't quite keep it in play. John Lewis heads in field. Harriott will chase. Well cut out by Vandenberg.
I've got to say, I like all three of these players that are coming on. I think Jack Hanna, he's had his injuries over the seasons, but when he's fit, I think he's going to be such a good player. He's a centre half, technically very good, quick with the ball as well, good passing range.
Be interesting to see who he comes on for here then. Yeah, as York have a throw in just in front of the Borough bench.
Probably might be Lenihan.
Lenihan's just won a header there, but Silvera's pass is cut out. York possession again just in front of the Borough bench, and Duckworth forced into a back pass to his keeper Whitley from the halfway line.
Jack Stott will definitely come back into midfield, and it'll either be Kane Sykes or Barlasser. And AJ Matthews.
Callum Howe looks for the head of his striker John Lewis. It bounces back to him, finds Harriott with the short pass. Harriott on the right hand side. Collins is just backing off to the edge of the area. Help arrives on the overlap. Collins sees the danger, blocks the cross, and York have a corner. And it looks like Borough will wait for the corner to be taken before they make their triple change. Corner taken short. Cross sent in towards the penalty spot. I think it was Vandenberg won the header. Rogers, he moves a bit like Matt Crooks actually, doesn't he? Sort of glides across the surface. Big tall man, and he brought the ball out to the left hand side. York have won it back. Stretching interception from Sykes, puts it into the centre circle. Cordner will look for his left back, Latty Fairweather. And you were saying earlier, Neil, he's impressed, hasn't he, in the York team, the left back?
He has, yeah. I've been really impressed with him. Good size. He's looked after the ball really well, got forward. And not a bad side, similar to Hartlepool last night. I thought Hartlepool did really well. Good side, organised. And York have done exactly the same.
Well, things will, two National League sides, of course, but things will step up a notch when we go to Rotherham on Wednesday.
Yep, no doubt about it. And it'll have to step up a notch because you're playing a team that are, decent, really decent, and I'm certain they'll put a strong side out, and you've got to match them.
Team in the same division as well, of course.
Yep.
As Collins pass down the left is blocked by Duckworth. Borough throw-in and chance for the triple change to be made. Yorker preparing some changes as well, it would appear, but it will be Borough first. Right, yeah. Matthew Hoppy is coming off. Yep, Kane Sykes and Rav Vandenberg, as Neil Madison says. Coming on to replace them, AJ Matthews, Jack Stott, and who was the other? Jack Hanna, wasn't it?
Yeah, Jack
Hanna's gone into central defence, and he'll play alongside the experienced Darragh Lenihan, and here's his first touch of the ball on the edge of the area. Matthews is up front, and Stott is in central midfield. Lovely little touch from Morgan Rogers. Taken on the move by Jones with good pace, going right down the middle of the pitch. He's got Matthews just to his right in the area. First touch was to get the shot away, and it was blocked by a sliding Tyler Cordner.
I'll tell you what, if he'd been on since the match had started, I'll tell you what, he sticks out in the back of the net, but because he's just come on, he's a little bit loose.
Rogers whipping it in from the right hand side, deflected, and the keeper flung himself across his goal. Whitley, I'm not sure if the touch was off him or the defender, but it's a Borough corner.
I tell you what, Isaiah Jones, the afterburners come on there because he just flew past a few players. It's great play from us. And eventually finds AJ Matthews in the box and just gets under his feet the ball.
Borough, having taken the corner short, have worked it back to Hannah, edge of the centre circle. Good stretch from Stott to keep the ball moving forward. Now Silvera from the left-hand side. He saw Rodgers on the edge of the box and the pass was just cut out ahead of him. Lenihan wins it back. Nearly an hour gone. It's 0-0. York against the Borough on BBC Radio T Sport.
The tempo's sort of lifted a little bit, hasn't it?
It has. There's a free kick, a trip on Lenihan.
You get that chance there, and then all of a sudden, the three boys come on. And it looks like they're going to all the best mark.
Well, do you know what, Neil? I'm not even going to try.
Well,
and you know why?
1, 2, 3,
you know
4,
why?
5, 6, 7, 8. He's bringing 9 subs on.
And you know why? Because if York aren't going to put numbers on the back of shirts, why the hell should I try and work out who's coming on?
Yeah.
Well, ding ding, all change. Applause around this main stand behind us and the end away to our left.
There's only Couillard stayed on the pitch.
And the goalkeeper, Whitley.
And the goalkeeper, yeah.
There you go. You're going to hear a lot of them two in the next few minutes. Well, the York fans are happy with what they've seen.
Yeah,
and I think the manager Michael Morton is as well.
I must admit, I think they've done really well. A solid side, similar to Hartlepool last night. Really solid, organised, technically good players, and of course a few problems.
And that man we were talking about a few moments ago, Thierry Latty-Fairweather, last off the pitch, and his manager had a good long chat with him as well. Definitely one who caught the eye for the Minster men this afternoon. An hour gone then, 0-0. York have made 9 changes. I can tell you that Mason Campbell, Sam Sanders, Adam Crooks, Ryan Fallowfield, Levi Ando, Paddy McLaughlin, Scott Burgess, Finlay Barnes, Cedric Main, Trilus Dane, Trilus B have come on as Borough put it across the box from left to right, low cross from Collins, and there was nobody there to finish it. Still in play though, Rodgers in the area, dispossessed, and then puts his hand on the defender who goes down like one of those earlier lightning bolts had hit him, and that is a York free kick.
That's a good ball. Lenihan, lovely ball into Sam Collins on the left hand side. His touch is good, Sam, and he puts a ball right across the face of the 6-yard box. AJ Matthews makes that run near post, but it's just in front of him, no one there to finish it off.
Let us bring in the Gazette's Craig Johns, because I'm sure, Craig, you know exactly who everybody out there in a York shirt is now, don't you?
Well, I've been relying on you all game to tell me who the York players are, so we're both in not in a good position now.
No. The joys of pre-season. Here's Hannah with a header for Borough that didn't make much distance on the halfway line. York will try and create something down the left. Now they switch it back into the middle. Here's Couillard, who did stay on, goes for goal from distance, and it bounces off the chest of Glover in the Borough goal. Well, he got his body behind it, Neil.
Yeah, he did.
I wonder how much it was moving from Maz Couillard. Throwing for the Minster men. 10 yards into the Borough half. Linnell John Lewis is just clambering over the seats in the dugout to sign an autograph for a young York fan, as the ball is played just a few yards in front of Michael Carrick. York pop it down the right. Lenihan, with all his years of experience, knows he doesn't have to chase that one because it will go out, and Tom Glover can take a Middlesbrough goal kick.
He's done well, Darrell Hannon. I think he just sits in there. He's been really comfortable. He hasn't had much to do, but what he has done, he's done really well.
Oh, that's a tight area, edge of the Borough box, and well done, Dan Barlasser and Jack Stott, who kept the ball under pressure. 2 York players had read the script, but Borough were good enough to play through them anyway.
So Jack Stott just started where he left off last night. I think he's got on the ball quite a few times, kept the ball moving.
Solid looking figure, isn't he, in the midfield there, the teenager. And now he's got some defending to do as Borough lose the ball in front of him. Jones makes a good tackle, no free kick given, and now Borough can break down that right wing with Rodgers. Jones just ahead of him, he'll give the ball to him now. Matthews wants it in the box, in comes the cross behind the striker, and York don't just drive it long, they want to play out from the back. 0-0. Silvera makes a good tackle down in front of us and wins it back. Here's Barlasser, inside left channel, looks in field, doesn't see a path to Jack Stott, so lays it off to Silvera. Nearly 64 minutes gone. Borough looking comfortable. Be nice to see a goal, wouldn't it, Neil? As Stott is well tackled on the halfway line, and now York will spring forward. Red shirts flooding back. Jack Hanna has the defender to do. Kuyar goes for goal and curls it a yard wide of the far post.
Yeah, ball goes into Jack Stott there, and he's asking for it, but you know what, he doesn't really want it there because he's got bodies right around him, and he turns into trouble. The pinch hit, left hand side, Kuma gets the ball there, just opens up the angle, hits it with his right foot and just goes past the far post.
Kudos to the Borough fans who were jumping up and down in the stand on the far side as if it's a playoff semi-final, doing their best to make some atmosphere as the sun has come out once again, and Silvera has his shorts tugged there as he turns away from one of York's central defenders. Free kick just short of the halfway line for the Borough.
Yeah, he does well there, Silvera. Real sharp, he knows the defender's right up behind him and he just turns him. Defender's not having anything of it, he just grabs him and it's a free kick.
On first viewing, he looks promising.
Yeah, he does.
I would say, Silvera.
Yeah, he does. He looks all right.
Taking into account the opposition and, it's not a proper game and all of that, but he looks to have something.
Yeah, the one thing I will say, blessed with pace, sharpness, that's massively important.
Here's Whitley in the York goal controlling the back pass. AJ Matthews full of confidence after last night's goal at Hartlepool, closing him down. York play out and they've got it now at the base of midfield. If you were the York manager, Neil, Michael Morton, and you were saying this about John Askey last night actually, weren't you, and Mickey Barron too, you'd be looking surely at someone like Matthews and Stott and thinking, we might be able to get hold of them, we might be able to borrow them for a few months.
Well, certainly on the shoulder of Jack Stott last night and today, I think you're looking at him, he's a good build, he's solid, he's comfortable on the ball, he's got a really good range of passing,
just lacks experience.
Yeah.
And there is of course only one way to get that. 24 minutes to go, goalless as the wind again whips around the stadium on BBC Radio T Sport. Here's Jones just again having his arm pulled as he tries to get away from the defender on that far side, and Ross Joyce blows his whistle for a Borough free kick once more. The problem in games like this is always that they just degenerate as the substitutions are made. So we'll see if the players out there can produce in the time that remains. Here's Collins receiving it on the halfway line, Borough's left back. Rodgers has dropped in behind him from centre forward, and Stott again under pressure, knows the man's there, plays it back to Glover first time, and Glover again. Well, look, if you're part Melbourne City, you're part of the Manchester City family of clubs, aren't they? And if you play for Man City or one of their teams, you have to play a certain way. That means keepers have to be able to use their feet, and again, just like Seny Dieng, he looks well capable.
Yeah, he looks comfortable, doesn't he? And he's a good size, as I said before, he's a good 6'2", 3", isn't he? Let's see what his kicking's like.
Well, he's going to drive it long over the head of Matthews, and the defender will head it backwards towards goalkeeper Ryan Whitley, who decides not to pick it up. He draws Matthews onto him and passes it out in his turn. It looks like Matthews has gone through the centre and Rodgers has dropped in on this left-hand side now, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Or has he? Now he's going to push forward. I'm just looking at where Jones and Silvera are playing. Silvera, good block as Rodgers makes a challenge. Left wing, chance to cross outside of his right foot, and it's cut out before it can reach Matthews, and a free kick has been conceded by the Borough attack. Didn't want to use his left foot there, did he?
No,
Sammy Silvera.
He tried to find AJ Matthews because AJ, to be fair, he sees his run and he tries to peel around the back of the centre half and just finds a little pocket there, but he just, as he said, Silvera tries to play with the outside of his right foot and doesn't just quite get the distance on it and the accuracy on it.
And AJ Matthews is of course the son of a professional footballer in Lee Matthews, isn't he? He was at Leeds, and I think he was at Bristol City with you, wasn't he? When you were on loan there?
Yeah, we went down together, me and Lee.
York failed to clear, and here's Smith on the end of a pass from Jones, right hand side, clipping the cross, and he clips it just over Rodgers.
Lovely ball as well, wasn't it? Lovely ball from Smith, begging to be put away. That
Morgan Rodgers has had a glorious chance this afternoon. It came in the first half when he was clean through on goal, and he just took far too long, and a saving challenge came in. Now Sam Hannah's drawn in on the halfway line, Jack Hannah rather, and York have got away from him. Right hand side, Collins backing off. Danger here, and it comes across the goal, and Hannah's there, heading clear in the 6-yard box and rectifying his earlier mistake. Jones and Silvera combining in a tight area on this left hand side, the ball trickling in front of the dugout. In comes the defensive challenge, and that is a Borough throw-in. Again, Isaiah Jones has looked bright in bursts, hasn't he, again this afternoon?
Yeah, yes, I mean, the best chance second half when AJ Matthews has just come on. He bursts through, his turn of pace just gets away from 2 or 3 defenders. There's a couple more subs to come on, Fenton John, and I think it's Dan, you'll have to say that,
and Krumer.
Yep, that's the one.
Sam Collins with a throw-in to take before any more changes can happen, though. 20 minutes to go. That one's bouncing in the middle of the pitch, a stretch and a lofted pass from Barlasser to Tommy Smith. Now Silvera appears on the right wing. He's a right will-o'-the-wisp, isn't he?
Yeah,
he's looking for the space and going wherever it is.
I've got a funny feeling that he's going to come off Silvera, and I think they're going to bring Rio on.
Rio who?
Rio Patterson Powell.
I mean, that's just for my own entertainment.
Yeah, no,
obviously.
I like Rio. He's got something about him. He's
the ball just went behind Collins there, who had seen space down this left hand side, but
he's only slight.
Yeah, it went behind him from Lenihan, and it's a York throw-in. Yeah, 3 more Borough changes on the way. Michael Carrick just patting Fenton John on the back, having told him what he wants from him. That's a good play from Jack Stott, who saw where the York throw-in was going and just glanced his header back into midfield. Now Barlasser, just short of halfway, looked for Silvera, cut out. Well tackled there, Smith. Now Silvera, centre circle. Borough on the move. Matthews wants it threaded through to him. Silvera tried it, bounced back to him. The Australian still going, left side of the area. Silvera to the byline, didn't put the cross in, and he'll wish he had now, because the challenge deflected off his shin and out for a York goal kick. And now for 3 more Borough changes.
Yeah, I think he'll come off Silvera. I've got a funny feeling.
Well, Fenton John is one of the men coming on. Daniel and Krumer as well. I'm just waiting to see who's coming off. Is that Morgan Rodgers who's walking?
Yeah, I think it's Isaiah Jones as well.
Isaiah Jones, yeah, and Sammy Silvera. And yes, and Rio Patterson Powell is the other. So Patterson Powell, John and Nkrumah are on for the final 18 minutes here, as Michael Carrick just shakes the hand of the 3 players he's taken off. So it's a youthful looking Borough for the time that remains, Neil Maddison.
Yeah, and a chance for the boys to go and shine. They did last night. I thought when they come on, I thought they were excellent, and another chance to step onto the pitch, gain that experience, that first team football experience, and go and enjoy it.
Here's Tom Glover, all in black in that Borough goal, getting the ball from his throw-in, edge of his area. Brilliant sunshine again here. You can see the ground staff just stood outside their shed on the far side, Neil. Actually, more of a garage than the shed, isn't it? The door is up. The lawnmowers are ready to come on at the final whistle, as Patterson Powell crunched into a challenge on the far side. The ball broke backwards and Borough have tidied it up. 0-0. Will we see a goal in the time that remains here? We're with you till 3 o'clock, then it'll be Jordan Blythe taking you through the rest of the afternoon on BBC Radio Tees. Jack Stott on the ball once more, back to Glover, and now Hannah on the edge of the area. Barlasser, one of the few senior players remaining out there, drives forward. Matthews controlled well initially and then couldn't get away from the defender. York going backwards here. Matthews will pursue back to the keeper Whitley. Whitley again, calm under pressure. Just slips it between the red shirts. And York will come again. Diagonal out to the right hand side, just in front of the winger. And it'll be a Middlesbrough throw-in. Tony McMahon down there applauding the intention from the York midfield. They'll be encouraged by what they've seen, won't they? York's management team.
Well, absolutely. I think they've done well. I think they're good. It's a good setup with French in the ground, the stadium where it is, and
new ownership as well.
Yeah, and now you've got to put a team out there that they're going to be proud of, and I've got to say, I think they do okay.
Here's Borough possession just inside the York half. Back it goes to Glover. Glover a long way outside his box. York just backing off to the halfway line. Now Collins. Halfway again. Barlasser. Just that pitching wedge forward, isn't it? Looking for Matthews. York cut it out. Remember the pass he put through at Luton when... I forget who it was now on the end of it, but I just remember him just pinging the ball about at Kenilworth Road as Borough lost out on the night. Stott under pressure, trying to get the ball out from under his feet, but holding it off and keeping it. And Borough will begin again with Jack Hanna, who's playing just to the right of Darragh Lenihan at the heart of that Borough defence. It's my first viewing of quite a few of these Borough players, Neil. I mean, you see a lot more of them, obviously, in the academy. But they're not looking out of place at the moment.
No. I think sometimes what you tend to do, you tend to look for players, bring players into the club that you hope that have got that potential, but the players are already there at the football club. You know,
it's a big leap, though, isn't it, from academy to championship?
Oh, it's a huge leap. Don't get me wrong. I'm just sort of feeding these lads in and just, you know, can they muster it? And in pre-season, you test and you try them. And I'll tell you what, last night they didn't do themselves any harm at all. I thought the players that came onto the pitch, and we had a 16-year-old on, and by the way, he's a good player.
And Krumer tried to create down this left side of the York area, tried to trick his way past the defender, fell over in the process as he was tackled, and York struggling to clear in their turn. Matthews nearly pinches it on the edge of the box. And now York are near the corner flag on their right hand side, and again determined not to just welly it, and Borough have pinched it. Matthews goes down. Thought he rather bought that one, but he'll happily take the free kick. Left wing, and a chance for Borough to put it into the area.
As I mentioned, you had a 16-year-old Finlay Cartwright on the pitch last night, who I thought was excellent.
Now Borough's academy continuing to produce the goods. Here's Lenihan, left wing, but nearer halfway line than goal line. Hanna into the feet of Stott, back to Borough's number 5. Tommy Smith to his right. Smith, Barlasser and Lenihan are the senior players still out there. It's like an academy team, as Collins just couldn't take it down in his stride and ran out of room. York goal kick, 0-0, 13 minutes to go.
Yeah, the important one out of that trio you've just mentioned is certainly Darragh Lenihan. He showed them leader qualities, and you can see constantly talking to the young boys, encouraging them. I think it's great from a senior pro to do that. Gives you a little bit of belief as a youngster.
I didn't get it there, but the crowd, the attendance was just announced. A round of applause from everyone here. Craig Johns is with us in the press box. Did you get the number, Craig?
4,000 and something, but I didn't get beyond that.
Well, that's 5,000 at Hartlepool last night, 4,000 here today, and Borough swelling the numbers significantly as Lenihan loses the ball under pressure, short of the halfway line, and now he's got to try and make a tackle as York build through the middle. Left side of the area, Kuyar will scamper out towards the corner flag to keep the ball in play, which he did initially, and then the challenge came in on him from Rio Patterson-Powell, and York have got a corner. And still the wind howls around this stadium. But thankfully we're in bright sunshine still. If you're just joining us, we had a nearly 10-minute stoppage in the first half as a storm broke directly above us. Thunder, lightning and monsoon rain. Borough clear initially, the ball 30 yards out. York haven't got the shot away. Borough have pinched it through, and Krumer, and now Matthews will look to put them on their way. And eventually Rio Patterson-Powell took too long and was tackled on the halfway line.
I didn't think he took too long. The ball just got stuck under his feet. He tries to find the pass out on this left-hand side to Fenton John, and it's a good tackle from the York player there to stop it from getting to him.
Lenihan playing it into midfield. Stott will get it in the centre circle. He's just operating alongside Bar Lasser at the base of midfield.
I've been impressed with Jack Stott. Does everything simple, but it's effective in what he does.
And that is a big part of it, isn't it? When you're trying to make your breakthrough, not trying to do too much.
Yeah.
I know you were saying earlier that Martin Piero, in his time in a Borough shirt, you thought he'd done a bit of that.
I did, yeah. I thought, when Piero first came into the club, I think he was just, trying to impress, and he wanted to do everything, and then finally he just gets to know his position, and I think you showed the glimpses at what he's capable of doing, and I just think under this manager, I think he'll flourish. I really do. Depending on what's going to happen with him,
Well, he's not here today. Wasn't at Hartlepool last night, so we'll see if there is a place for Martin Piero as the build-up towards the big kick-off continues. We'll be at Rotherham on Wednesday night, bringing you commentary of the Borough's game with the Millers. 4,958 is the crowd, and 2,185 of them are from the Borough.
And 3 more coming on.
3 more in red shirts.
It's AJ Bridge, Nathan Simpson, and Frankie Whelan.
And it looks like Darrell Lenihan's coming off because he's taken the captain's armband off. 4.
JD's coming on. JD
4.
Costello as well.
They are emptying the bench, aren't they?
Yeah, so JD's centre half.
Is that everyone? I think it might be.
JD will probably go in at centre half. Tommy Smith's coming off.
Dan Barlasser as well.
Nathan Simpson will go over there. Barlasser, that'll be AJ Bridge into midfield.
So it's basically an academy 11 now. Bar Tom Glover.
Oh, looks like Frankie Whelan's gone into centre half, and JD Costello's gone at left back.
9 minutes to go then. 9 minutes for somebody to get a goal in this pre-season friendly. It is 0-0. And Borough will play it short, and they'll lose possession in the process. York going away from goal at the moment, out to the right hand side. Borough battling to win it back in the middle of the pitch without success so far. Patterson-Powell doing the closing down on that far side.
Yeah, it's pretty much an academy team here now, isn't it?
It is, like I said, bar the keeper. And Glover is now going to clear from his 6-yard line. Matthews thought it was coming his way, but the wind got hold of it, and Nkrumah was beaten in the air. Maz Kuyar out on the left for York. Good feet from him, gets it in field. Tackle comes in. Borough emerge with the ball, and Nkrumah rolling it back to his central defenders. I don't know who number 28 is, because we haven't got a 28 on the team sheet.
28.
Is that Frankie Whelan, who's down as 29 on the team sheet?
Frankie Whelan's on the ball now.
Yeah, Whelan's got 28 on his back, 29 on the team sheet, but the ball at his feet. Possession lost and won back by Costello.
It's a lovely ball.
Floated down the left, and Nkrumah goes shoulder to shoulder with the defender and out of play for a throw.
Lovely ball from AJ Bridge, just feels that ball into the channel. And Dan McCuna just tries to get on it.
Fenton John has got support from Costello, who's got it now. Back to John. Tackle comes in. Well, that ball's just got away from Costello, who's into a 50-50, and there's Stott arriving to help tidy it up, and then he barks at his teammate and says, come on, switch on. 7 minutes to go. York 0, the Borough 0. Stott holding off a challenge in the centre circle. Back into Whelan's feet. Now Hannah. Stott again challenged, goes down, free kick, and you could hear the anguished cries of no from the York players as Ross Joyce blew his whistle. Stott stands over the ball. hits the diagonal out to the right-hand side, where Patterson-Powell was under big pressure there. A mismatch physically, but Borough have kept possession. Now Stott pings it to the left. What a lovely ball that is to Fenton John, who tried to get away from the defender and made a good tackle. Borough throw in.
You know, I'll tell you something. I think you look at Stotty and Jack Stott, and you're on about taking chances and getting into the manager's head. I'll tell you now, the last 2 games, Hartlepool and here, he's exactly done that. He hasn't let himself down. I think he's been really comfortable.
And you know what? Since the senior players have gone off, here's a tussle on the edge of the area, a bit of a wrestling match, and a York free kick, as Rio Patterson-Powell was adjudged to have been overzealous. Since the senior players have gone off, the eye's drawn to Stott, isn't it? Because he just looks to be the one in charge out there in a red shirt. You know what I mean?
He's constantly on the ball, isn't he? I mean, he
body language, the way he's playing, the ball's going through him, people looking to him.
Yeah, he makes himself available, and you're right, the ball goes through him, and a lot of stuff comes from him.
Ooh, cheeky bit of play from Whitley in the York goal there, as Matthews was closing him down at pace. Just sold him a little dummy, got the ball out to the left, but Borough have won it back and won a free kick in the process. Is there to be a goal in the final 5 minutes then of this friendly?
Well, you've got a team on the pitch now that know each other. Effectively, they're all...
They play with each other week in, week out, don't they? The majority of them. Here's Costello, operating at left back now since the departure of Collins. Jack Hannah receives it just short of the centre circle. Borough going back to Glover. You can possibly hear the shouts of Michael Morton, the York manager, in the background, who's out urging his team on. He made 9 changes in 1 goal after about an hour. And Glover has played that one behind his teammates on the far side. That is a York throw-in. Imposing looking figure, Michael Morton, isn't he? He wouldn't mess, I suggest. York with the ball in the middle of the pitch. Down the right hand side it goes. There's Hannah having to switch on there. That was a loose pass that almost turned into a good through ball, wasn't it? I don't think it went at all where the York player intended it to, and everybody sort of looked at each other, and then Hannah took charge of the situation. Matthews just bounces off the defender as he backs into him, limping a little, and York have got the decision for the throw-in. 3.5 minutes left. 0-0. Oh, York players leaving it to each other at the back, and eventually a switch and a swipe of the boot clears the danger, and Borough will have a throw-in. Left back position, and we've got just over 3 minutes to go here at 0-0. So what will you take from this game, Neil?
Well, same as last night.
The kids.
Yeah, minutes in the legs, fitness, sharpness. You've got to certainly step up after the first 2 games, and the first 2 games have gone now. You have this one, and then you look at Rotherham. You go into another championship side, and I'm certainly the manager will field a pretty strong side there.
And games to come after that: Real Betis, at Chesterfield, Bradford, and Auxerre at the Riverside. Final game before the new season, which begins with the home game against Millwall. Stott trying to drop the ball over the defence and play in his teammate Patterson-Powell, but the pass just too strong. I think the wind might have got hold of that one, because it appears to be at Borough's backs in this second half. Throw in for York, just short of halfway, left hand side. Let's bring in Craig Johns from the Gazette. Craig, who are going to be the subject of your many columns after this game?
I think two young players who Maddo's mentioned, Stott, who's came on in the second half, and then first half Cade Sykes. I thought both for young boys looked really assured in the centre of midfield, really comfortable on the ball, which is what Michael Carrick...
Oh, a mistake from the keeper, Whitley, and
wow!
Oh, it bounced straight back to him off the unsuspecting AJ Matthews. Oh, you nearly had a different headline, Craig.
Yeah, it was closing down, wasn't it, from Rio Powell and obviously AJ Matthews, but the ball just hits him. He doesn't know nothing about it. The tempo sort of, I said before, they all know each other and they know they've got to set that standard and set that tempo, and you can see the game has come a little bit more livelier now. It's not so much a pre-season game.
No, it's almost training ground, isn't it, at times, but no, the pace again picks up. Yeah, he nearly rewrote your headlines there, Craig, didn't he? AJ Matthews.
Indeed, yeah, after a great night last night.
Yeah, or more accurately, Ryan Whitley nearly rewrote your headline in the York goal. Thank you, Craig. Craig Johns of the Gazette. You can buy the paper, or you can log on to Teesside Live to get Craig's thoughts throughout the season, as well as listening to us here on BBC Radio Tees Sport. As York have an attacking position left side of the Borough area. Will they have a final chance in the 30 seconds that remain? Ball hoisted into the area, into the box. Back-pedalling header from JD Costello goes out for the York corner. This will be it, I think, for the afternoon. Final action of the game, York's corner out on the right-hand side. The gentleman in the press box to our right is leaning forward and filming what happens here in anticipation of a late York winner. I have to crane my neck to look round him as York look like they're going to pump this one into the box. And they've taken too long! Groans and boos from the home fans because the 90 minutes are up. And Ross Joyce says, that's that! Full time in this friendly here. National League York 0, Championship Middlesbrough 0. And Neil, bit of an anticlimactic ending for the home side, wasn't it?
Yeah, takes too long, so he decides to blow his whistle, but
rules are rules.
I'll say again, very similar game to last night. You know, no real tempo or energy to the game, but you know, it's about minutes, it's about fitness, it's about sharpness, and the young boys obviously coming on the pitch and trying to take a chance. And I've got to say, out of the two games, they have taken their chances. I know it's only pre-season, but it's about getting to the manager's head. And it wouldn't surprise me if Jack Stott goes with the first team now and just does a little bit of training with him, and instead of being with the 21s. You know, I think he's impressed, and like a few of them are. But I'll say this, I said it before, Mark, I think you look at the squad, there's still a little bit more business to do. You've got to bring that little bit of quality into the side, that urgency and experience as well, that just makes you more compelling, because the championship, you know what it's all about. It's a real tough league this season, and you've got to have them players that can turn games in your favour. Last season we had it. The loan signings that we brought in were absolutely magnificent for us, and you've got to try and bring them players through the door again.
And when we talk about Jack Stott and some of the other youngsters, you know, Kane Sykes you mentioned earlier, how big a deal is it for them? Because you've been through this, wasn't academies in your days, where it was, you know, YTS and youth team and all that stuff. How big a deal is it, that moment where the manager goes, right, you're in this changing room now, you're training with us, you're training with the first team?
It's massive. It's absolutely massive. You'll get a seat in the changing room, and I'll tell you, you're 6 foot tall, and every training session you have to go out there and you have to impress. You know, and impressing in training sessions keeps you there. You know, don't let your standards drop. And to be fair, the academy boys have got a good standard to aim at, and they know exactly what's expected of them. And if they get that opportunity, brilliant, they deserve it. And I think Jack Stott, you know, in the two games that he's played, and especially tonight, you said it before, I think it was an academy. You see him there on the last 15 minutes, mainly the academy players, and Jack, he took control of things. You know, give us it, and he was demanding off players, and
it wasn't, you know, it wasn't spectacular. You know, it wasn't like Diego Maradona or anything. We're not over-egging it, but he just looks the part.
Yeah, he just looked the part, and it's pleasing. But we're talking about first team football now. We're talking about next season, and these are the players for the future. And Jack Stott's one of them players that will probably, hopefully, go out on loan and learn that trade, learn that, have that opportunity to go and play league football. Hopefully,
is he? Would you equate him to Hayden Hackney of a couple of seasons ago? That sort of stage of development.
Yeah, I just think Hayden. You looked at Hayden, and Hayden always had that quality. Always had that pass, that range of passing, that quality around him, and Jack's similar to him. I would say Hayden was a little bit further in front of him, but I think Jack has got real qualities. But to step away from, I think, the academy now, because I think they've done themselves really good in the last 2 games. The first team now, it's massively important that come Wednesday we just start stepping up a little bit. If you can get a few more players through the door, real quality, they make the difference. We all know what this league is like. We all know what you need to get yourself at the top end of the league, and you need quality at the top end of the pitch. And we had it last season. Archer, Ramsey, Tuber, McGree. I mean, dear me, Ryan Giles on the side. That's what you're looking for this season. You're looking for the real quality to make things happen. And at the moment, it's not quite there yet. They haven't got them players in. They've got potential. Got to try and get a little bit more through the door.
Well, the transfer work continues, of course, behind the scenes, and we'll keep you up to date with all of that. BBC Radio T Sport weeknights from 6, and of course online as well at BBC T Sport on Twitter. Neil's waving to more of his fan club who are here with us at York, and doubtless they'll follow us to Rotherham, Neil, on Wednesday when Borough are next in action, pre-season friendly against the Millers. That is on Wednesday evenings at BBC Radio T Sport. But here at York, the second of 2 friendlies for Borough in 24 hours ends in a goalless draw. Jordan Blythe is next.